Hello, and welcome to the first lesson of Podcast Like a Pro. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about why are you podcasting? I think this is a fundamental question we need to address and answer for ourselves before we get started with any of the other nuts and bolts and parts of podcasting. We need to figure out the why so that we can figure out then the who and then the how, and we'll get into those in future lessons. So first, I want to think about our goals and visions for podcasting. So really, why are you here? What is your podcast all about? And what is your superpower, I like to call it? That thing that gives you a unique ability to talk on a certain topic and to a particular audience. These are things that are really going to give you a very unique opportunity to speak in your niche and will give you a great chance to connect with your audience talking on this topic. So speaking of our podcast topic, let's think about how we're going to come up with exactly what our podcast is going to be about. So to do a bit of podcast topic ideation, I want to think about 4 things that you're involved with right now. So the first thing with podcast topic ideation is thinking about your interest. What do you like doing? What do you like talking about? What do you like researching? What do you like talking to other people and networking about? For me, I like podcasting. I like business. Those are the things that I'm really interested in, so that's what my podcasts are about. With respect to your interest, keep in mind that this is something you'll be talking about every day or every week for a long time. If your show is successful, this will become a large part of your life. So make sure that's something that you're really genuinely interested in and can do every day for a long time. Next thing about your unique experiences. What have you done or gone through that make you sort of individually qualified to talk about on your podcast? This could be something from your personal life, could be from your professional life, could be where you're from or what interest you have, but something that's unique just to you and it kind of makes you special. Next, professional goals. A lot of people podcast as part of their business. So what are your, if this is for a business, what are your professional goals and how does your podcast fit in with the rest of your marketing and content strategy? We're going to talk about this a lot more in a very specific lesson on how your podcast fits in your overall marketing and branding. But this is something to think about now is how does your podcast fit in with your overall professional goals? And then lastly, what groups are you already involved in? Are you part of a church group or a professional society or a sports group? And could that fit in with the topic for your podcast? All right, let's talk about your superpower. And this is a really cool exercise that we're going to go through, and it'll become very clear very quickly where a couple of things intersect and what that makes you uniquely qualified to talk about, and your audience is going to love hearing from you on. So to identify your superpower, you want to really kind of line up these 2 spheres, and this is called a Venn diagram, but really you want to find out where the intersection of your passion and your expertise overlap, and that's where your superpower is. So what are you super jazzed about? What gets you pumped every day and get you out of bed kind of roaring and ready to go? And then what do you really know a lot about, or what have you had a lot of experience with? Where those 2 things overlap is where you'll find your superpower. This is something that's going to be easy for you to talk about because you're passionate about it and because you know a lot about the topic already. So we were talking about podcast ideation a bit ago. That's really important to pick a niche that you have interest in and experience in or uniquely qualified to talk about. But you also need to think about your superpower and where the intersection of your passion and your expertise come so that you're gonna be able to connect with your audience really well and really easily. I think this will go a long way towards creating a podcast that has impact with your listeners. So just a note on competition here. People already say, oh, there's so many podcasts out there, or my podcast idea has already been done, or, I don't want to start a podcast here in 2017 just because so many other people are already doing it. You know what? Competition is a great thing. Here at Podcast Motor, we are not the only people that do concierge-style podcast editing and production. There's a lot of people out there. We have a different spin on it. We do things a unique way, and we try to cater to specific types of customers, and that makes us uniquely qualified to be really good fits for some people. And with your podcast, it should be the same thing. There's going to be a podcast, or there should be a podcast already on what you're talking about. Breaking ground on a brand new concept for a podcast is probably not the place for a first-time podcaster. If you think you have the next greatest idea for something that's never been done, the chances of you failing with that are actually pretty good. It's much better to say, okay, what is already out there that I can talk about in a little bit different way or on a little bit different topic and give it my own unique spin And that's going to give you a much better chance of being successful than coming up with a new type of content or format or something like that that's never been done before, because competition really proves that the model that these people are podcasting on already has been validated and can be successful. And you can too. You just have to find a unique way to spin it. Okay, so wrapping up this first lesson, here are your assignments. Write out that Venn diagram where you find your passions and your expertise circles, and where do they converge and where do they overlap. And in that, you'll find your superpower. For podcast topic ideation, list out 12 or more, if you want to be an overachiever, things that you're interested in, involved in already, you like learning about, or you have unique life experiences in. This is really where you're going to find that unique spin on an existing podcast topic that's going to give you a unique perspective that your audience is really going to love. And so go into iTunes and explore some of the shows that are similar to what you're interested in already, but find a way that you can put a little bit different spin on them, because competition's a good thing. Remember, if you want to go, create the next greatest thing, that's really risky. More likely to succeed and resonate is talking about a topic that's already being talked about, but in a unique way, and something that's unique just to you and your experiences and passions and knowledge. So think about a competition and finding a unique way to talk about a podcast topic that's already out there. And we'll see you in the next lesson, where we talk all about your ideal listener avatar and who you're podcasting for.